What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe to all of our YouTube videos by the notification bell. As well, if you'd like to donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, y'all can go to our Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, or our YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. You can do so by hitting that little thanks button by the like, share, dislike button on the same line. You guys can scroll to the left. You'll see the word thanks. You can donate that way. So let's get it going. Next video, you know what I'm saying, we got another video talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, who just finally got their first win after losing all the first three meetings against the Bucks, against the Spurs, and I think against the Celtics. Those three games they lost. They finally got a win yesterday against the Indiana Pacers, 106-120. And for me, the Sixers have been a team that I'm very, very intrigued to watching this season, actually, because they have changed their roster up, I believe. I feel like they've gotten better. I feel like they have gotten another year, to kind of, be with each other, vice versa. Last year, guys were kind of scrambling around and they didn't have no real consistency with the whole Ben Simmons thing, and then Joel Embiid being the really solo act for most of the team. Tyrese Maxey finally coming alive last year, taking that step up. So I'm really interested to see what the Sixers do this season, right? But I want to talk about a guy who I was very hard on last year after the playoffs, who I was very, very critical of, who I was like, man, this guy, he just playing like he don't even care. I have to give credit to this dude and say he's back, and that's James Harden, the beard, point guard of the Philadelphia 76ers, who's currently averaging 26 points per game, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and minimal turnovers. I think he's averaging less than 3 turnovers a game. I watched them play against the Celtics, and I watched them play against the was it the Spurs? I think it was the Celtics and the Bucks. I watched them play against the Celtics and the Bucks, right? Both road games. Or Celtics was a road game, Bucks was a home game. And I'm just like, the first 4 games, I'm like, James Harden has finally returned, came back to earth. No more slumpish. He looks in shape. He looks ready to go. He looks efficient. He looks smooth. He's not making any bad decisions. And I guess you have to kind of, believe what he was talking about. His hamstring was hurting him and was kind of, boggled down his play. He suffered that in the Eastern first round against the Milwaukee Bucks back in 2021. So it's kind of been lingering on since last year. But it seemed like he's finally back and ready to go, man, because he's looking like the best player on the court for the Sixers, man. Yes, I said it. He looks better than Joel Embiid. He looks better than Tyrese Maxey. He looks better than Tobias Harris. He looks like he just looks like the best guy on the team. I gotta give James Harden his love and his props, man, for what he's doing. I love seeing James Harden being this James Harden, because here's the thing. James Harden is a magician on the court. As far as he brings the perfect balance from scoring and playmaking, right? He's able to get a lot of stuff done offensively. I'm not talking about his defense, offensively, while making it look like he's not going full speed. He knows how to control the pace of the game. He knows how to get his numbers, high efficiency. This is why I feel like, and I'm going to talk about this team probably another day this week. The Brooklyn Nets are missing James Harden, because what you had with him was a person that was able to set up his team and have high power offense, which their defense wouldn't have to suffer much. The Nets never had like a great defense, but they really don't have a great defense right now, and they don't have the high power offense outside of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and the playmaking that Ben Simmons is not providing them at the level James Harden was, is why the Nets are struggling. But that's nonetheless. I gotta give James Harden his props, man. He's moving very, very swiftly, very effectively. He's moving like he actually is looking to win. That's why I'm not even really concerned with the Sixers' slow start, because I'm like, okay, the main question is James Harden going to come back with a vengeance has been answered. Yes, he is. He's ready to go. He's played. It's been 4 games. I see the pop in his step. I see how he was playing. He's playing like he did his first stint with the Brooklyn Nets, when he was talked about as being a top 5 MVP candidate. He's back right now. So I think the Sixers are going to be very, very dangerous. But the only problem with the Sixers is they got to answer that bench problem. They got their core guys with Their core guys with Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, fine. That's a perfect core to win a championship. Got Tobias Harris as another shooter. If he stays consistent, that's another big piece. Give you about 15 to 20 points per game. But the bench with Daniel House, with Cork Moss, with Shake Milton, with Montrezl Harrell, those guys are just not able to produce enough productivity for the Sixers to be competitive. I think they need to go ahead and try to look into possibly getting a couple pieces going into the off season or going to the All-Star break. They need to take a look at their roster and look at that bench, because Doc Rivers, we already know what he does in the playoffs. He's not the type of person to make adjustments. So you almost gotta make up for what he lacks, because the playoffs is about adjustments and it's about coaching and play calling as much as it's about the game, because teams are going to be able to scheme for you game by game. And Doc Rivers, we've already seen, is not that type of coach. So you have to find ways for other players to step up. And from what I'm seeing with the Sixers, their starting five is cool. Their bench is trash, and that's why I said last year about Embiid carrying that team. That's why I feel like he should be MVP. Their team was not as great as people wanted to make them out to be. But that's what Embiid was doing, carrying them to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. It's the same thing as this year. They made a couple moves, but their bench is kind of like it's bland, right? The addition of PJ Tucker has been good for them, I think, for Harden especially, because Tucker's going to be a guy that's going to hold people accountable and actually be a person that's going to play defense and have that dog mentality that they need around Joel Embiid. But as far as, like I said, James Harden, man, is back. I'm very excited to see what he does this season. I have to give him his props, man, after, being critical of him last year. But we'll see what the Sixers do for the rest of the season. So with that being said, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull it out. Peace. I like swim.